Let me tell you something, guys and gals. I truly do believe this is the best chapter of One Piece this year. I do. When Saul was revealed to be alive, a lot of people, myself included, thought that took away a lot from the Wano experience, the Wano development, when, we had that, in my opinion, the bad Sanji moment. There's some good iterations, but overall, I don't like that Sanji moment when he calls Robin for help, and then Robin starts fighting Black Maria, and Black Maria has her subordinates take, Clover, Olivia, and of course Saul being like, "Hi, Robin, we're here," and he's like, and she accepted. She was crying, but she accepted. I love these people. I wish they were here, and I want nothing more. I would give up anything for you three to be alive, but you're not, and I need to deal with the fact that you're dead and move on. And I felt that right after doing so, revealing in the next arc that Saul was alive, was sort of a kick in the dick, shall we say. Like, it's taking away from that very highly character developing, accepting death, went through the 5 stages of grief, etc., from Robin as a character. Now, that all goes out the fucking window. This is One Piece, chapter 1133, entitled Praise. And I know that there's important things to talk about in this chapter. I know that this is Usopp's big dream. I know the references to Big Mom. I know that, and Lin with Gerd and stuff like that. And I know that exploring this new island, the world of the giants and stuff, is all very, very important. But right now, I don't give a shit about any of that. And I don't give a shit whether it's a Deus Ex Machina. I don't give a shit if it's bad writing. I don't give a shit if it takes away some form of character development. I don't care any argument that I previously had or anybody else has. This shit made me, well, I'm really glad I'm wearing glasses, shall we say. Alright? Because I've read this chapter about 4 times since it came out. And it's still right here. It's shit. I honestly, like, alright, like, we can go through this. We can go through this and stuff. We can say, like, okay, we have the Hold'em is the one that stole the sword and blah, blah, blah on the cover serial. That's fine and stuff like that. But the immediately we jump into the fact that they actually, and I don't think this was known before, they fucking blame, I think this is a new piece of information, they fucking blame Robin for Akainu's heartless destruction of a civilian fucking ship. They actually had the nerve, the balls, even my balls ain't that big, to blame it on a fucking little girl. Like, and then we have to run through basically Robin's entire lifespan here, and I don't think this is wasted. Like, a lot of the time Oda will showcase stuff and do flashbacks and stuff literally to remind himself and make sure that everything's clear. And he's admitted this in SBS's or interviews, etc. But no, this was a new perspective on the same thing, and we're seeing how terrible this was for Robin. We already know how terrible it was, and how many panels, Oda, how many fucking panels are you going to give me of this poor little girl fucking crying before you literally just... Do you not want me to read anymore? Because I can't see through this fucking shit. Literally, I've got black aviators on and I'm weeping. I cannot see if my tear ducts are full and I got glasses on. For fuck's sake, Soda. So, we go through this whole thing, the devil child, the whole thing, and of course being said to live, promised to live. We even get this very, very scary. I don't think that this was originally shown. Is that what the way it's being showcased is that she's an enemy of the world. She's this, she's that, and we see her at the very edge of a cliff, and I don't believe that this was showcased before, like, because we immediately jumped to Saul, and I'm like, and then no, I think we're showcasing this is a new scene. She's on the edge of the cliff. She's tired of running. She's tired of being alive. She's tired of being hated. This poor fucking little girl is so tired of being hated that she's just gonna jump. And of course, she remembers her mother, Olivier, Liv Robin, and she's crying, she's snotting, and she sticks it up, and then she remembers Saul. Right now, you will find true friends someday. Just hold on until then. I know it's very hard right now, but please hold the fuck on. And being taken and abused and cursed this whole damn time. And then we jump back to Elbaf, and I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Right now, I do not give a shit. Elbaf could be the most beautiful fucking... Leonardo da Vinci could have painted this fucking panel, and I don't give a shit. Please, let Robin see fucking Saul. Like, I do not care about Elbaf. Usopp's dream can fucking die right now. I don't care. There's an immediate need, a want, a desire, an ode. Because, once again, Usopp's daddy left and his mom died. That happens in reality. This persecution is some fucking, like... I'm sorry, Usopp, your backstory ain't that fucking sad. When we look at Robin's fucking childhood right beforehand, I don't care about your dream right now. I will care later, but I just don't care right now. So I just move on. All these panels, they're fantastic. Hirudin's there. It's fantastic. Gerd, Big Mom, Linlin, we heard about this. You're a Yonko now. Expected of us. Blah, blah, blah. Go find Saul. Blah, blah, blah. Here's a library. Here's how giants... I don't care about giant lore right now. I just want... She even cut her hair. She got Brooke to cut her hair for this. I just want to see Saul. And then we get the whole reveal. Saul has fallen and he can't get up. And it's the Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a big fall. It's that, you know what I mean? It's that gag. And it was a gag and stuff like that, right? So immediately, he did this on purpose. So it was all a gag. He did it on purpose and he admits it. And I just want to go through the scene with you guys. Hopefully, I'm already crying, but hopefully I can manage to get through this with you guys. So Robin immediately remarks how silly and says, it's fine, I'll go see him on my own. You guys can all stay here. And everyone's like, yeah, okay. And even Luffy, I do remember there was one key thing I wanted to say about Luffy. Luffy actually immediately said, no, I need to go speak to Saul because as your captain... Once again, Luffy has grown. When people say Luffy hasn't grown, Luffy has grown. Mostly due to Zoro, to be fair. Mostly due to Ace's death and Zoro. You know, sorry Sanji fanboys, Zoro is much more important versus Luffy's development. But he has grown because he has remarked, once again, his responsibility as a captain. And he goes, he took care of you. He was there for you and he took care of you back in the day. You're my crew now, so anybody who did even one nice thing for you deserves my acknowledgement as a captain, and I need to go thank them. That was a really nice little... It's one panel, and even Robin says, oh wait, you remember that? Like, you remember me telling you about Saul sort of idea? And it's like, we like to think that Luffy doesn't listen. And it's done in both the... It's done in the manga with Nami's backstory. Luffy didn't listen to Nojiko's backstory about Nami or anything like that. So we like to think that Luffy doesn't care and he doesn't listen. Not that he doesn't care in a very heartless way, but he doesn't care because it doesn't matter. No, he still does acknowledge and he knows what matters. He's grown very much so because of Ace's death, because of Rayleigh, because of Zoro, and what it means to be a captain. And the only reason I'm crediting Zoro with this is not just because of a Zoro fanboy, but because he said as captain. That's not pre-time skip Luffy. Pre-time skip Luffy would never have said that. Pre-time skip Luffy learned from Zoro what it means to be a captain. And Zoro taught him what the responsibility of being captain was, and this is one of them. And in a very good, heartfelt way, but still there. So, and no, I did not totally just use that to distract myself because I was going to break down. Absolutely not. Okay. Alright, so we get to the scene, right? And at first, I wasn't the biggest fan. I wasn't. I thought it felt very wooden at first. But there's a reason for that. They haven't seen each other for like, how long has it been? 20 fucking years? 2 decades? They haven't seen each other. Like, Robin's in her 20s. And she was like a 7-year-old, 9-year-old girl. So it's been over a decade. At least. I think it was remarked at the beginning of the chapter, it was 22 years ago. So they haven't seen each other for 2 fucking decades. And they didn't even know, like, Saul knew, but Robin didn't know that Saul was alive. So he's washed up on the beach just like he was. And then he peeks under his eyelid. There's Robin. And Saul does the same thing from before. Just like, Garr! You know, and says, and then he starts laughing with his, she. Did I get you? And then immediately looks on and says, guess not. And he's looking at her. He remembers the little girl he left behind. And there she is with the same hair. A little longer, of course, but the same haircut and stuff. And I think, I'm not sure if Oda planned that. I doubt he did, because it's been a long fucking time. But the idea that she had this new hairstyle, and the hairstyle was just a choice or whatever, and now because she was meeting with Saul, she wanted to look as much as herself as possible. It's really nice. And then, you know, Saul goes on and picks up and says, you know, wait, well, you wouldn't fall for that. I know you're not a kid anymore, but I'm sorry, I just didn't know how to approach you how to break the ice after all this damn time. Like, it's been 20 years, you know, I'm embarrassed. I just didn't know how to, and this is very natural. That makes a lot of sense. Saul didn't know how to say, hi, back from the dead, been 20 years, how you doing, Robin? You know, like, he didn't know how to do that, so he put on a little farce, and that's well within Saul's character. And, you know, Robin starts laughing and saying, you still have the same funny laugh. And he says, yeah, it's still, and he starts laughing, it was a she, and says, yeah, it's still ridiculous. But he picks her up and says, let me have a good look at your face. You've grown just as pretty as Olivier. You look just like her and stuff. And he's praising her and stuff. And this is really nice. And she's going, like my mother? Absolutely, you look just as pretty as she did. And we do see that he's got a peg leg right now and stuff like that, right? And he's all scarred up and stuff. We expected this for Saul. We get the flashbacks all about, like, Olivier and stuff like that. Yeah, and Saul goes on to say, you have kind eyes just like her. They talk about Vegapunk's broadcast and things like that. And they talk about Ohara's legacy, and that we see this panel of all the Ohara scholars and saying, we will not let this vanquish without anyone hearing. The voices of the scholars of Ohara were indeed passed on. Isn't that great? And stuff like that. Like, good for him and stuff. And, you know, he risked hell for everyone. Ohara and Vegapunk took a huge leap of faith. Their sacrifice will shape the future, and we should be proud, and all these wonderful things. And this is all great dialogue, right? It's fine. But I'm sitting there, and as I said, I felt it was kind of wooden, and I was just waiting. I'm like, this is just a conversation about the updates of what happened in the world. What the fuck? You seeing each other after 22 years, and now you're fucking talking fucking politics and what's going on in the world? Oh, did you ever hear the latest headline in the newspaper? Wow, that was fucking crazy, you know? And I know it's relevant, but I was just like... And once again, I when you finish it, it's all good. Like, this all makes sense. But at the time, as I was reading panel by panel on my first read only, I was kind of like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I was feeling it at the beginning of the chapter, and I was losing it. I was losing it here, and then it all came crashing down. And we're getting into that because that's when Ron just says, yeah, and starts, looking at Saul's scars and touches them and says, and yours too, does it hurt and stuff like that? And he says, well, and then he explains what happened with the fire and the ice and all that stuff. And it's like, and all those reports ticked me off. I found out that you survived, and all those reports made me so mad. They were saying such awful things about you, calling you a devil child and all these things, and a demon kid, and I hated it and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, Saul is the father Robin never had. In this regard, I always like to think of Saul as a foster dad, or at best, the uncle. He is there 100% behind Robin no matter what. And I love this. And Robin just bows her head and says, let's not, talk about all these dark things. Hey, Saul. And then finally, she's her little girl self again. Like, we've seen her be this adult this whole time. Ever since we met her with Crocodile as Miss All Sunday and stuff. We've seen her as this fucking, mature adult who only broke down during Water 7 sort of idea, right? And we're her backstory. And then finally we see her just... And yeah, I'm not going to say she hasn't been herself this whole time, but she's mature, she's regal, she's, and she finally just lets go of the shackles and says, I don't want to talk about that. I'm a little girl, I want my pat on the head. I did it. I went through all the hard stuff that you asked me to do. You gonna praise me for staying alive? Because that's what Saul said to her in that very dark moment. Said, you will find friends. Just be alive. Stay alive no matter what. Stay alive. And said, aren't you gonna praise me? And hence the title Praise. And it might sound very egotistical, but in this context, it's not. She just wants Saul's acknowledgement at this point. Like, this is real. I'm here, and I did what you said, and thank you. You know what I mean? And this whole bit, and it's just... And then Saul just, right, of course I can. And he starts tearing up like yours truly. And a kid like you against the whole world? Of course I'll praise you. And hugs her very close to his chest. And just... Oda, you fucking dick. Anyways, he and he just says it. You did great job staying alive, Robin. 22 long years, you did it. Thank you for being such a survivor. I'm so glad we got to meet again. You strong girl. And it's such a nice scene. And Robin's happy. She's hugging Saul. She remembers everything. All the pain. And then finally, we get what we expected this entire time. We get what we expected for her to completely break down. She bawls her goddamn eyes out. And it's so fucking perfect. It's so beautiful. And she just says, well, we all knew, of course. I've missed you so much, so. Because, once again, we had that moment in Mono. She accepted. She hated it. But she accepted she would never see her family again. And here's her foster dad. And Saul likewise cries his damn heart out. Goddamn beautiful, man. Fucking perfect. So goddamn good. And like the rest of the Straw Hat crew, I'm bawling my eyes out right now. After 4 fucking reads. I cannot get through this review without snotting and sneezing like the rest of them. So yeah. It's oh. Yeah, I'm sorry, Albath, you have to take a back seat. Yeah, so best chapter of the year, bar none. Don't give a fuck what power scaling bullshit you cared about. Don't care about Loki reveal. Don't care about Egghead. Don't care about this. Don't care about that. Don't care about bounties. Don't care about nothing. The reunion with Saul. Best moment of 2024. And you can argue, and it's okay to be wrong sometimes. So, this is the best chapter of One Piece this year, bar none. Will not even entertain a debate. You can have your own opinion, and you, once again, you're entitled to be wrong. That's okay. But this is the best chapter, bar none. That's not an opinion, that is a fact, and I will die on this fucking hill. It was beautiful. This is my 5th time going through it, and I'm still bawling like a fucking 12-year-old girl. Just saying. Just saying. So, anyways, guys, what a fucking chapter. Is all I can say. What a goddamn chapter. I hope that I'm not the only one who felt the emotion, the fucking pull on the old heartstrings. My heart stopped beating a long time ago, but my tear ducts are telling me that there's still something there. So, yeah. Just wow. Oda, you fucking asshole, but you brilliant genius. Holy shit. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, like, comment, and subscribe, please, as always, and let me know what you thought down in the comment section down below. Have a good one, everyone. One Piece is on fire. 100% fire right now. So, that's it from me. See you back here next week. Have a good one.